Are you struggling to get good FPS in XDefiant, or any game for that matter? Let me show you the way. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and just poking around from stream to stream, I see a lot of players with strange FPS numbers. Some people have super low FPS, like in the low hundreds and sometimes even 90. That's even lower than playing on a console. And others have insane FPS numbers like 300 plus that are just jumping all over the place from 300 to 400 and anywhere in between. Let's start off with the easy solutions. Your monitor's refresh rate equals your FPS to an extent. So if you have a monitor that's only 144 Hz, but your FPS in-game is running at 300, you're wasting valuable power, resources, and potentially damaging your GPU long-term and shortening its lifespan. An easy solution to fix that is just change the FPS cap in-game to about 20 or 40 over your monitor refresh rate. Example, running at 240, you should be capped at 260 to 280. You can also do this in your NVIDIA settings as well, but the in-game setting is just more convenient. But an FPS cap will only get you halfway there. What about those struggling to even hit your monitor refresh rate on older systems? All those people that I saw running at 90 or 100 FPS, but playing on 120 or even 144 Hz monitors, and God forbid, a 240 Hz monitor. Well, you could do things that are a little bit more complicated, like overclocking your GPU and CPU, and then you could do the easy things like turning all your in-game settings down to low and even reduce the resolution scale option down a bit. But before you do all of that, let's go over a few easy steps that you can take in your PC settings that will get a chunk of FPS back. This got me over 100 FPS just by doing all of these steps. And for those of you that record or stream your gameplay, that's huge because you probably have noticed just opening OBS eats away about 30 to 40 FPS to begin with. So the first thing you want to do is open XDefiant, and once the game is open, right click on the game icon in your taskbar and click on Properties. Once this window comes up, click on Compatibility and then check the option to disable full screen optimizations. Then in that same window, click on Change High DPI Settings, and when the new window opens, check the box to override the scaling behavior and make sure the dropdown is set to Application. Then just click on OK, then Apply, then OK again, and next up in your search bar for Windows, type GPU and open your graphics settings. If you get this screen, click Change Default Graphics Settings, and some of you may get to this screen by default without even having to do that, and that's fine. This is where we want to be. So on this window, you want to turn on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, as well as optimizations for windowed games. Then go back a page by clicking up here on graphics and look for XDefiant in this list. If you don't see it, you can browse for the .exe file and add it. Once added, go ahead and click the game and then click on Options. Change this to high performance, but just remember these last two changes go hand in hand. If you don't turn on hardware accelerated GPU, adding the game to this list and changing it to high performance won't do anything. So make sure you turn that first one on before you do this. Next, go back to your search bar and then type Game Mode. Click on Game Mode Settings, and then once the new window opens, just make sure that this is turned on. Then go to your search bar once again and type System Config and click the System Configuration option. Once you get to this window, click on the Boot tab and then Advanced Options. Now the only thing we want to change here is check the box that says Number of Processors, and then in the drop-down menu below, just click whatever the highest number is. Depending on your system, you may have a 4, 8, 16, even 20 or more. Whatever the highest number is, just click it and click OK. Now go back to, that's right, the search bar and type in Power Plan. Click on Edit Power Plan option. And the easiest way to ensure that we have what we want to do here is click at the top where it says Power Options to go back a page. And then on the left, click on Create Power Plan. Name it whatever you want and then choose High Performance. Click on Next. Set your display and sleep timers to whatever you want. Mine never times out. And then Create, and then that's all done. Now let's go back to the search bar again and type in Disk Cleanup. This step should be a process you get in the habit of doing every so often. I usually do it about once a week, just to keep your PC running smooth. Once the Disk Cleanup window pops up, choose the first disk, usually the C drive. Once you get this window, click on Cleanup System Files. Once that's done, make sure everything is checked in this list, then click OK, and then just repeat this same step for every drive you have on your PC. Once that's done, go back to your Start menu, right-click it, and choose the System option. Once you get this window, click here where it says Advanced System Settings, and you should get a new window that looks like this. Click the Remote tab and make sure the option is unchecked for Allow Remote Assistance. Click Apply, then OK, and click Advanced System Settings again. And this time go into the Advanced tab and under Performance section, click on Settings. Click the option here for Adjust for Best Performance and then Apply and then OK. Now right click your Start menu again and click on Run. Then in the new box that comes up, you're going to type the word Temp. Once you click OK, this will open a folder with all of your temporary files. Highlight all of these and just delete. If you get a pop-up saying you need permissions to delete, just make sure the box for Do this for all current items is checked and click Continue. And if you see a retry instead of continue, you just want to check the box again that says do this for all current items. And instead, this time you're going to click skip. Once that's done, close the window and do the same process. Right click start, click run. And this time you're going to type out percentage, temp, percentage. Click OK. And once the new window opens, do the same thing, highlight all of these files and delete. Follow the same process for any pop-ups that you get. And once that's done, we now get to one of the most important steps. This one step alone is what was able to push me over the hump and allowed me to play in true 1440p, as before I was running 1440p, but my resolution scale was always either 75% or even 85%. Now I can run it at 100%, even while streaming, and still get over 240 FPS. So what you're going to do is open a browser, Google Intelligent Standby List Cleaner, then click the option for Wagnard Soft, and you should come to this page. Then you want to click this download and support link here, and then on the next page, click download ISLC here. Once that downloads, go ahead and open it, extract it, and once that finishes, locate wherever you extracted it to, open the .exe file to launch the application. Now, you're going to want to do this every time that you're about to play XDefiant or whatever game that you're playing, so make sure you either write down the following steps, memorize them, or save the video if you need to. Once the application is opened, you're going to start with this first box here. Make sure this is set to 1024. It should be by default, but just double check. The bottom box should be whatever half of your RAM is, which is conveniently right up here at the top. So half of mine is about 16,000. It doesn't have to be exact, so whatever half of your total RAM is, just enter that here. Then moving over to the right side, this bottom drop down for polling rate. For lower end systems, you can leave this set at 1000, but if you have a higher end or decent setup, you can lower this to 500. Next, make sure the enable custom timer box is checked, and then you'll want to set the time box to 0.5. This box can be a little finicky, so the best thing I found to do is just highlight everything in this box, press delete on your keyboard, not backspace, and then once you type in 0, it should autofill with 0.0000, and then just right arrow past the decimal and add a 5 so it then looks like 0.5000. Then click the Purge Standby List, and that should reset this number here to 0 and it starts going up again, and then click on Start, and then just minimize this and it'll run in the background. Then last but not least, if you have a recycle bin icon on your desktop, just go ahead and right click it and empty that, and that's it. You may want to reboot your PC just to give a fresh launch, but just remember once you reboot it, you'll have to run through the steps for the Standby List Cleaner again. But you can see here that after a fresh reboot and running that ISC cleanup, I uncapped the FPS just to show an example of the gains that I was getting, and I'm now getting over 400 FPS in the menu and getting over 300 FPS at times in-game with OBS open. Keep in mind that I also disable the preview in OBS as well, so it's not using GPU to render a display on that also. And you can see in my settings, I am running 1440p at 100% resolution scale, and doing this prior to all these changes, I'd have been lucky to get 200. Which is why I had to lower that resolution scale down to 75%, which means you're basically playing in 1080p. If after you restart and you get into the game and you find out that all of this stuff did help you, make sure to come back to this video, leave a like on the video, and let me know in the comments how much FPS you gained from doing all of this. Consider subscribing to the channel for more tips like this, and I'll catch you in the next upload.